America is not just focused on technological advances, it's also looking out for nature. Welcome back to another video, guys. The United States is an agricultural giant. Their yields are known globally, and many countries are always interested in getting a chunk of it. The country has maintained a reputation in keeping its produce consistent in quality and quantity. But how so? Let's take a look at how American farmers use 778 million acres of land. Agricultural and specialty crops. Although the United States imports 20% of its food products, it maintains its reputation for the agriculture sector. Plenty of crops are grown in the country, including wheat, potato, soybeans, and corn. Millions of acres of land are used in America for sowing and harvesting different fruits and vegetables. Corn is America's biggest crop, grown at almost 90 million acres. Soybean covers 80 million acres, and wheat takes up 44 million acres of American land for production. Another surprising fact is that California produces around 400 different crops that are regarded as specialty crops. America has also started using biotechnology for their crops, using different ideas to improve their yield and protect the crops from different pests and insects has caused a massive improvement in the agricultural sector. Livestock farming. Most people don't know this, but the United States uses around 41% of its land for cattle. That's right, America may be one of the biggest agricultural producers in the world, but a major share of its land is used for livestock farming. According to statistics, around 778 million acres of farmland is just for their livestock to graze on. Ranchers have been working to raise livestock since the earliest days. Statistics have shown that the country is doing great, and their yields are growing every year. Texas is one of the biggest states in this venture, alongside Tennessee, California, and Kansas. Although their animals are auctioned to other farms that slaughter these animals for meat, it still hasn't caused a decline in this field. Of course, when we talk about livestock, there are plenty of animals that come to mind. America uses the majority of these animals on their fields, although a majority of their animals are found in some specific areas, but they're vastly spread across the entire region. Among these animals are sheep, goats, pigs, and cattle. Poultry is also an underappreciated sector of America's livestock farming. While they may be a small factor contributing to America's farmland utilization, poultry remains an important part of the field, mainly because of both broiler and egg production. 8.5 billion broilers were being produced in the United States annually at one time, and over 300 million hens laid 90 billion eggs. So it's quite obvious that poultry is as important in American livestock as any other animal. If you're enjoying the video, like and leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel and ring the bell to stay updated about our latest videos. Now let's move ahead. Goats. Only 2% of the United States land is used to feed goats. However, their number is still pretty huge. There are about 2.65 million goats in the United States. Most of these animals are bred in regions like Tennessee, Georgia, California, and Texas. 41% of this population is bred in Texas. Goats are usually allowed to graze on a pasture next to the farm. Some small-scale breeders use fenced areas to keep their animals within a certain boundary and not lose them to wild animals. According to statistics, about 1,100 goats became victims to coyote attacks in Texas alone. While mother goats are freely allowed to eat in the field, a baby goat has to be a month old to accompany its mother to the pastures. Many sheep farms also breed goats, and they allow both of them to feed together in the green. When the goats are about 8 to 12 months old, they're auctioned and sold to goat meat factories. About 83% of the goats are bred for meat production. Sheep. America also breeds sheep in large number, although they have a small percentage in the overall count with just 4%. Around 1.7 million lambs were born in the United States. 37% of these are born in Texas and California. According to a report from 2021, there are about 9,300 sheep farms operating in California. 555,000 sheep heads were counted in these farms, constituting around 11% of the country's total lamb population. As of mid-2022, Texas has the most number of sheep, with around 747,000 head count. Idaho, Wyoming, and Colorado are also included in the list of states with the largest number of sheep. After birth, the lamb stays with their mother for about 9 weeks, and then they start weaning. At 2 to 4 weeks of age, major sheep farms carry out the process of tagging the lamb's ears and removing their tail. There are important reasons behind this procedure. The ears are tagged for proper identification of the lambs to specific farms. The tags must also be related to scrappy, which is a disease in these animals. Tails are shortened to protect the lambs from blowfly strike. a terrible infection that can cause fertility problems in the animal, decreased wool population, and even cause the animal to decease. Sheep in all farms are taken out to graze on a pasture for several days. Then they find another area, giving the first land enough time to recover. Shepherd dogs are also an aid in protecting the livestock from coyotes or wildcat attacks. After the goats are a year old, farms usually shear the goats for wool. The desired range of yield is about 7 to 7.5 pounds. Besides, sheep are also auctioned for land factories. About 2.3 million sheep are slaughtered each year to produce 137 million pounds of lamb meat. Cattle. Cattle holds the biggest proportion of all of these animals, with around 53% spread over the U.S. A report from 2021 revealed that there were around 700,000 cattle ranchers, spread on 614 million acres. Texas was the main source for breeding cattle in the country, followed by Nevada and Kansas. Sources have reported that cattle appeared in the country during the 1940s, and some ranchers in Texas accumulated hundreds of cattle in the 1980s. Longhorn was the most common breed back then, followed by Angus and Hereford. Reports from 2022 showed that 35.8 million cows were born in the United States annually, with 30% of them coming from Texas. The first 3 months of the year are quite busy for the ranchers, as it is the breeding season for the cattle. When the calves are about a week old, they feed with their mothers on the vast grassland. To protect all animals, ranchers do not allow the cattle to feed far away from the farm for the first few weeks. At 2 months of age, farms will brand their calves so that they have a permanent identification and ownership to the rancher. It's especially helpful for farms running together or feeding on neighboring pastures, so as to keep count of their cattle. The ranchers use a hot iron rod to cause permanent scars on the calf's body. Although it is painful for the animal, it remains an important process for the ranchers nonetheless. In April, the ranchers will move their cattle for more feeding. Cowboys will often bring along their camping gear and horses if the trip is long enough. Around 1,000 cows are directed by the cowboys to move 20 to 30 miles from their farms for grasslands. Herd dogs are also used in this process, as it is a tedious job for a cowboy to keep track of all the cows and move them ahead. Calves are considered mature when they reach 30 to 42 months. As they have grown in size, they need to eat around 3% of their total body weight. Nevertheless, they're still at risk of attack by predators. Around 90 to 120,000 cattle are eaten by coyotes annually. Towards the end of the year, cattle are sent to Oklahoma for auction. According to reports, 39 million cows are slaughtered in the United States each year. There are several factors that decide the price for a herd, including their weight, size, origin, and breed. An average cow weighing around 1,100 pounds goes for $200 to $300. In 2022, it was estimated that the livestock sales would be around $73 billion, around 17% of agricultural commodity sales. That's it for today. The United States is not just focused on producing fruits and vegetables. It's one of the several countries that's focusing on livestock farming, as it is an important way of acquiring consumable meat. Their produce is growing every year, and the concept is also flourishing in many other regions.